Alright, today we're going to take a look at two different runs which don't really have anything to do with each other in terms of the pets used. However, they are kind of thematically linked, and they're both going to deal with unreleased content. So this first one is from the test server for Minipack 3, and there were some pets on the test server that didn't make the final release version. That's not atypical. There have been quite a few tests where pets were not released after being tested, presumably because the developers had wanted more time to cook them before they were made available. I think an obvious example would be Hermit Crab. I definitely remember making a video about that when it was on the test server, and then when the update came out, it wasn't there. So that was quite disappointing. But this time I could see why certain pets didn't make the cut. Their relative strength or value was disputed in the test server feedback, and also they didn't necessarily completely fit in with the theme of the mini-pack. I would have liked to have seen them been released anyway, because I'm impatient like that. But presumably we are going to get to see these pets eventually. And the one we're going to look at today is Tanystropheus. Now, I think that's the correct pronunciation. I feel like we say that with every single prehistoric creature that is featured in this game. I'm not actually sure if this animal is a dinosaur or not, or if it's just a prehistoric reptile. Any of the aficionados can let me know in the comments. I'd actually never heard of it before, and I was quite into dinosaurs as a kid. The fact that I'd never heard of this one was a little bit of a surprise to me. But then it is possible that maybe I did read about it in a book as a kid and then just forgot about it. I don't know. Either way, this is a very recognizable animal when you see it, because it has an incredibly long neck, and they've definitely gone for it in terms of the artwork in making that abundantly clear. Now, the team I'm building here is a little bit atypical as well, because I'm playing Fruit Fly for the long term, and the reason for that is that because this was the ailment test, most of the opposing teams on the test server were playing ailments. So the Fruit Fly is there to replace those ailments with Blueberry. So if they have Pangasius or Dinocyrus, is it? No. What's the other one? Dunkleosteus. The dunk, as Troubadour would say. We don't want those to be able to give us ailments before attack. So the Fruit Fly with Churros is going to take that away. Under certain circumstances, obviously here, Winja has played the Pangasius further back. I think we're going to lose, yep. A lot of people quickly realising that they could play Husky with the all ailment teams. Not sure if that behaviour is intended or not. But here we go, we get the Tanystropheus, which is the sort of snake-looking guy at the back, although if you look closely he does have a very tiny body at the end of the very long neck. Kind of wish I didn't have the hats on in this particular game so that we could see the full sprite. But yeah, it is a very cool looking pet, and I really like the ability as well. So the ability, at least at this stage, because it did have a few different variations, was to give experience to everyone before battle, on your own team that is, as long as you don't have any other ways of gaining experience in the pack. And I think that's a really cool idea, and that's why I was so sad to see this pet not make it. Because I think that's an area where SAP can definitely use some tweaks, and actually in the current test server there are going to be more restrictions on building custom packs. The way things are at the moment, it's just far too easy to take all the best units in the game and not really have to think too much about it. Whereas this unit really makes you think about pack building. Now in this specific example, I'm going for a rather basic team because we needed the Fruit Fly and the Turtle to try and deal with the fact that all the other teams are running these ailment squads. And of course Team Spirit is going to fit on any level up team. So we're kind of locked into our lineup now, but I did just want to talk about Tanystropheus as a concept because I think this is a really clever idea, and hopefully there'll be some kind of, update where we get multiple pets like this. There was another one on the test server. It wasn't a pet, it was food on tier 6, which would allow you to gain random perks if for all pets on your team to gain random perks if there was no other way to gain a perk in the pack. And I think trying to build around those restrictions, especially for experienced players who have seen it all before, it really does add a different dimension to the game. Now, this particular example, we're not changing our team at this point. We're just trying to make sure that Tanystropheus is going to be able to get everything to level 3. So it's not the best example of interesting team building, but it does show the ability in action. And actually, this unit was quite buggy initially. There were a lot of times when it wouldn't actually work, even though you didn't have any chocolate options in the pack. And that was just kind of discovered through trial and error. And eventually it got to the point where, you were able to actually use the ability and see it go off here. So here we go. You can see there that team had the Tanystropheus, and we got rid of the ailment with the fruit fly. Fruit fly, still underrated, I think. And yeah, now you can see the problem. This is why I had to do this, because I was playing so many games, and all of the games at the end were just facing the same teams who had these full ailment squads. I was kind of hamstrung in terms of the actual build variety I could potentially go for. But rest assured, if this pet became available on the live server, we would be cooking up lots of different combos with it. So here on turn 19, I get matched with an infected player who unfortunately recently seems to have deleted their channel. I did try to message them and find out what happened, but all of those videos are gone now, which is really sad to see. But yeah, some of their teams live on in these videos that I have recorded from several months ago. So now we've looked at one pet that hasn't been released yet. Now we're going to look at a build that was never released. Now, this is a team that I actually encountered someone playing this team in customs, and then I spectated them to see exactly what happened because it was mighty suspicious to me. And it turned out that they'd found or rediscovered an exploit that had been known since way back at the beginning of Unicorn Pack. So what we're going to do here is we're going to prepare a team full of capybaras, or at least a couple of level 3s. Bonobo is going to help us do that. And yeah, this combo ended up being so strong that I decided I didn't want to make a video about it. There was already, like I said, there was already someone in Arena playing this. So you may have seen this before if you're a customs enjoyer. But yeah, I decided I didn't want to release the video because it was just going to end up with lots of copycat teams making life very difficult for everyone else. Actually, I think I should have just taken the Quetzalcoatl instead of the Flounder, but never mind. I guess I could have just sold the Blue Dragon to make sure that it didn't take any experience. But yeah, I guess the question would be, if I thought this team was broken, why was I trying to play it? Well, one of the difficulties you have with giving feedback on a game is it's not really fair to say to a developer that this is broken, just trust me. So what I was trying to do here was make sure that I could get the broken team very, very quickly. And I think this only took, 2 or 3 attempts. The first one, I did get the combo very quickly, but it wasn't spectacular enough to illustrate the point. But here we end up getting Bonobo level 3, which is unbelievable. And we're going to clone this Yeti. So the combo, if you haven't worked it out already, is Yeti with Capybara. And if you go back and look in the official Discord, there were people reporting this issue a long time ago and it was never patched out. But what's going to happen is the Yeti is going to roll the shop, and every single shop roll is going to get the buffs from Capybara. So we instantly get a 25-25 shop on turn 12. Now with Griffin, you could get this way earlier, but thankfully this has now been patched out of the game. And that's why we're showing this footage, because I really didn't want to have to face 50-50 shops on, turn 9, 10, 11, because people were trying to push this to the next level. In the end, I actually only played, I think, 2 or 3 games, got the recording, messaged the developers about it, and then I did get one message from Troubadour being absolutely shocked when he faced this team randomly. I was actually hoping that no one would face it, because I play so many games that, generally speaking, I wouldn't expect any one specific team to be matched, with an opponent multiple times. And I think Troubadour was the only person who actually messaged me about it. But yeah, here we go. You can see we've already had the 50-50 shop on the previous turn. We get it again here on turn 14. I think I'm just buffing up the Capybara for something to do. Yeah, we don't really need to do that at all. We can just sell everything, get rid of the Yeti. Okay, I'm actually going to keep the Yeti, I guess. Maybe it's because I didn't have the Yeti achievement, I'm not sure. But yeah, getting 4 50-50s this early, it pretty much just ruins the game. Honestly, just getting, having one 50-50 turn 9 is pretty nasty. Obviously, I didn't get turn 9 here, but of course that is possible. Or it was possible before it was patched. And then look at this. Nick Resney, turn 15, playing Behemoth, his favourite unit. And we still win very easily, even though he had multiple 50-50s as well. And of course, if I wasn't messing around, I could have just sold the Yeti and taken another 50-50. So clearly this combo could not continue to exist. And yeah, here we go. I actually faced Troubadour on the last turn. And it shows just how nonsensical this was. He was actually playing a pretty sensible looking team there, so I applaud his efforts to turn over a new leaf. Although from his latest video it seems like maybe that playstyle shift has been short-lived.